But I was watching these behind the scenes videos, and it was about Tarantino. It was a Tarantino, obviously, and the way he runs his films is like
Really?
it is like, yo, my dream would just be to be on that set.
With him?
Like, oh my god, there's so much passion in his films.
Yeah.
There's a video I want
He's
to
such
show
a
you.
passionate
He
dude.
and he goes there's a scene. It was him filming Inglorious Black Bastards, and every single shot. Their films are literally 3-second clips stitched together,
Yeah.
and every single shot has a purpose, whether
Yeah.
that's lighting, whether that's color. And in this video he was like, okay, one more time, why? And then he had the whole fucking crowd go, because we love making movies. And
Wow. That's
wow, I just want to be
crazy.
there. I just want to
Yeah.
be there and just say that, because it's like the passion of like it, not only directing it, it's just like in your head exactly how this is gonna play out.
Yeah.
And these 3 seconds are so important. No, one more time.
Yeah.
And the amount of effort
That goes
and
into it.
and planning, and there's so much more than just a camera and a face.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it before, about like, oh, it's just a movie, it's just movies, like they're
It's
just
really
filming, and it's just
not.
like, no, it's a whole craft.
It's a whole craft, and there's so much power to film. And I think that's the number one thing that some people really get and some people really miss is there's so much freaking power in film. And
Mhm.
that power can be used for the better. It can also be used for the worse. But it's so important to be aware of that film does have a lot of power to it. And that's why we have to be critical when we like watch films, because like we can either take something good from a film or we could take something bad. Like there's a certain narration that could be repeated over and over again, and that wires the way that we think as an audience, as spectators. And if we aren't critical about all of that, then we're gonna end up being gullible.
Yeah.
And I say that because just for example, in the media, when indigenous people are painted out to be savages or to be people to be afraid of,
Mhm.
sometimes the story is not even about them, but somehow they play a role in the story, and that's how they're represented. And if we're not aware, if we're not critically aware of the fact that maybe a movie that has nothing to do with indigenous people but has a scene where they make an indigenous person or indigenous group of people portray them that way, we're just going to start believing that as audience members. We're
Exactly.
going to think that that's the way to think, and that's how we should view people who look like that, people who are indigenous. If we don't criticize these films, if we don't look at them closely and notice what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong, we're just going to follow whatever they're saying, and what we're
Yeah,
being told is
it's facts.
obviously wrong. um, so yeah, there's so much power in film, and that's why every element of film is so important. Like the writing is so important because the story you're telling essentially is what you're going to start with, and then how you tell that story is also so important because you want to keep the audience engaged. And not just that, you can do so much with like all the things involved in making a film to get that message and get that feeling across.
Yeah.
Like even just like your setup in your room, like you could easily do the same podcast with just like your room lights and like not even microphones. Like we could just do it off of your laptop, right? But
Uh-huh.
that's not gonna be as visually appealing or even as meaningful as you setting up all these lights and like bring these equipment that's gonna make it that much better.
It don't matter. It don't